A girl in her first love, new feelings, happiness, and excitement. She's very calm and gentle, and she's a very smart girl. And she's pretty. And everyone loves her. Everyone. And her first love is the opposite one. He's very popular alt guy who sings on a stage, and he's a frontman in his own metal band. And of course, this shy girl whose name is Karina Buduchyan, she's ready to change her style. She's ready to change everything for him to make him love her more. And she can start lying to her parents to go to his parties at night, and she can stay at his apartment while everyone else is leaving. She's expecting her first kiss, maybe something more than just a kiss. But could she expect to be baked in an oven with potatoes and veggies and then to be eaten? You heard me right. This is a terrifying story of Karina Buduchyan. In winter 2009, a 16-year-old schoolgirl went missing in Saint Petersburg, and her name was Karina Buduchyan. She was studying at a specialized school with an emphasis on foreign languages, and she was a very active and diligent pupil. She had lots of friends at school. She was never bullied for anything, and her classmates, they all loved her. Her main goal for upcoming years was to graduate from school and to enter the university and to become a professional actress in the end. It may seem trivial for you, but her dream was to become a Hollywood actress one day. She was trying her best to achieve all her dreams. And in her free time, she even had a part-time job by handing out flyers on the streets and maybe gluing it to some surfaces. So she wanted to make some more money for her pocket expenses to buy some special clothes and special things which her parents didn't want her to buy, I guess. And she had lots of different interests, and she had lots of hobbies during her childhood and teenagehood. And her recent years, she tended toward Gothic culture. In my previous video, I told you that in these years in Russia, it was a peak of goth culture, and it was very popular, not only among teenagers but among all ages. So, a year before she went missing, Karina started to visit different goth parties and meetings. And for some reason, she started buying goth stuff and clothes, and she didn't wear it daily. She bought it and then she didn't wear it, only when she was going to these meetings and parties. And also, as I said before, Karina had lots of friends, and just few of them knew that Karina has her special new hobbies and interests. So she was hiding it from her friends, and she was hiding it from her parents, because despite the fact that the gothic culture and emo cultures and all informal cultures were on its peak these days, some people, they were afraid to actively show everyone that they loved something unusual. You should have been brave to show that you want to be not like everyone else, because of wearing some unusual clothes and listening to non-popular music was a little bit dangerous, because classmates and strangers on the street, or maybe someone on the internet, they could shame you for this freaky looks and freaky interests. There were lots of people who were hiding their true selves under a normie look, as I did when I was teenager. Actually, once at school, I had a big fight with a girl who was 6 years older than me. I was in the 5th grade and she was in 11th grade. So she decided to start bullying me while everyone else were bullying me just in words, and I didn't give a shit about it. But she decided to follow me everywhere, and she was trying to beat me. A girl from 5th grade. Is it okay? So it was okay these years. I was trying to tell everyone about it, but everyone was just laughing at me. And they were telling me, like, oh yeah, that girl is crazy. She doesn't like anyone who watches anime and doing some stuff which is not normal. She can beat everyone. Like, she can beat even you right now. Because she was big, she was angry, and she was also wearing giant heels, always running and following me, wearing this giant heels. It was dangerous to be a fan of anything. Like, if you want to be safe, you should be just silent and wear and listen and do everything like everyone else. So that's the reason why she was hiding her interests from anyone. Even her parents, they said that she wasn't a goth and she was a normal girl without any strange behavior or hobbies. But in spite of this, she told her mom about her first love and about this guy. She didn't give any special details, but her mom, she knew that Karina liked a guy from her environment, and he is a frontman in a metal band. Her parents, they also said that in the last year, Karina found a new friend. This friend was a girl, and she had a bad influence on their daughter. And she dragged her into this bad circle and gothic parties. Yeah. From the summer of 2008, Karina started visiting goth parties where she met her first love, Maxim Glovatskych, and she immediately fell in love with him. Maxim was a very charismatic old guy, and he was a main member of a metal band, as I said before, and everyone knew him because he was a very eccentric and pretty. I don't know how do you like him, but I don't feel like he's pretty knowing what he did. And he always was acting bizarre. He did something bizarre and he always wanted to draw the attention of girls. He already had lots of groupies, and Karina, very immediately, she became one of them. Karina, she was a big fan of poetry, and she knew that she can catch the attention of Maxim being creative person. So she devoted lots of love poetry to catch his attention. Fortunately, I didn't found any of this poetry, but yeah, I was trying to. And this Maxim Glovatskych, her crush, he was born on September 27 in 1989. And after completing the ninth grade of his school, he started using drugs and alcohol. And after finishing the school, he got his first job. And his first job was a butcher at the market. And after working as a butcher for some not long time, he quickly moved to Saint Petersburg. And he decided to become a musician. And his idea worked well because Maxim immediately gained popularity in goth circles and became a frontman of his own band named Shiri. I don't know how to pronounce this band name right. It's not popular. It's not popular. Like, no one knows about this group in Russia. Shiri doesn't matter. They are not exist anymore. By the age of 19, he had already been convicted twice, once for making death threats to his relatives, and once for being cruel to animals. And again, being cruel to animals leads to being cruel to people. It's always like this. And knowing this, for sure, they knew this. Both cases were dropped. And Maxim was just sent to have a treatment in Skvortsov-Stepanov psychiatric clinic. It was later revealed that psychiatrists had diagnosed Maxim with personality disorder. After being released from the psychiatric clinic, Maxim, he met his future neighbor whose name is Yuri Mazhnov. And he was the same age and had also recently moved to St. Petersburg from Kronstadt. It's a small city near the St. Petersburg. Maxim's new friend Yuri Mazhnov also had a criminal record in 2005, and he received 3 years suspended sentence for robbery just a year before they met. So they started to be friends, and after a while, they rented an apartment together from their common friend whose name was Ekaterina Zinovieva. So they began to live all together. Yuri, Ekaterina, and Maxim, Karina's crush. Maxim and Yuri, they were unemployed and didn't work throughout the entire year of 2008 to 2009, and they somehow managed to find money to pay the rent to Ekaterina, and they lived a life normally, like they were not starving and they were buying expensive brand new clothes. Till these days, the source of their income remain a mystery. Okay, guys, my throat is like a desert right now. Sorry. I should drink not a Coca-Cola because we don't have a Coca-Cola in Russia. Look at this. Americans are evil, so we have kind cola. You have evil cola, we have kind cola. Look at this. Dobry. Yeah, it means kind. Let me drink a bit. Actually, this one is like Coca-Cola Zero. Okay, sugar-free Coca-Cola. And it's worse than the original one, of course. Nowadays, I don't remember the real taste of real Coca-Cola. We can buy it right here in Russia, but it's way more expensive. Like this one, it costs maybe $2. But if you want to buy original one with the same weight, it will be $5 maybe. They constantly threw parties in their apartment and they disturbed their neighbors. At first, neighbors were calling the police, and no one ever opened the door. And as a result, the police just soon simply stopped visiting this apartment. And the calls of the neighbors were just ignored because they didn't have any reason to come because no one opens the door. And they didn't have a search warrant for the investigation and for breaking in and arresting anyone because police can break in your apartment only if they need to do this, okay? You understood what I mean. So they decided to make a new party. And it was planned on January 19th, yeah, in 2009. And that day, Karina wasn't planning to do anything special. But when she was walking her dog, Maxim called her for the first time. And he said that he wants to invite her to his party. And that was the first time Maxim invited her to his party. Immediately after this, Karina called her mother, and her mother at that time she was at work, and Karina said that she had a very important school assignment. And as I said to you before, and I don't remember actually I said it or not, but she was always an A student at school, okay? And she had a very important school assignment, and she had to do this assignment at her friend's house because she didn't have her own computer. She said also that this assignment is very important and it had to be done on a computer, like using the internet and finding and checking the information about historical events. And what's more, she said that she has to work on this assignment all night because she had no time left. So Karina's mother, at first, she refused to let her daughter go overnight because she never let her go anywhere at night. Karina was very serious with this. She said that this assignment is very important for her, and she asked to let her go. After a long persuasion, she agreed and asked Karina to take a taxi when she will go back home in the morning. That night, probably feeling something might happen or just being unsettled, she didn't sleep well all night. And in the morning, when she got up, she realized that the daughter is not home. And at that exact time, her father came from the night shift and they decided to call Karina's friend. And her friend said Karina left her apartment in the morning and she didn't know where was Karina right now. The girl, she was lying to Karina's parents because she knew where Karina was and with whom she was, because she was going to this party with her a night before. And they came to this party together. This friend of Karina, let's call her Diana, she didn't like Gothic culture and got to go to this party only because she wanted to support and escort Karina to this party at night, since they had never taken part in night parties before. As I just told you, they came together and they were together the whole time. But when the party ended and everyone started to leave, Diana asked Karina to go back home together. But Karina, she refused in a raw manner because she didn't want to upset Maxim and she wanted to spend some more time with him. And Diana was begging Karina, okay? She was begging Karina to go together, but it didn't help because Karina didn't want to go. So Diana, she left the party alone and she was feeling very nervous that night. She was scared for Karina for some reason. There was a reason to be scared of. One girl who was at that party before girl came, she said that when Maxim dropped the phone, he said loudly, "The meat is coming." Like, the meat is coming. And everyone was laughing. Just a simple thing that could come out from an eccentric guy like Maxim. Maybe, I don't know if it is worldwide, but people often call young girls a meat, right? No one could believe that that was the truth. In the beginning of the investigation, the police thought that girl had just run away from her strict parents, and after 2 or 3 days she would come back. But she didn't. And first of all, the police started to interview the girl's friends and her family members, and Maxime was also one of those who were interviewed first. And it was clear that he's lying. He's not telling everything he knows. And he didn't deny the fact that he had seen her and that she was on his party and he invited her. But his story was different from the real one, because he told police that the night before he took her home and didn't see her after that. The police didn't have reasons to arrest Maxim, so they had to let him go, even though they didn't believe the story they heard from him. On January 31, 11 days after Karina disappeared, in one of the parks in Saint Petersburg, some passerbys, they found suspicious plastic bags, black plastic bags, in which parts of the body were found. And as soon as the police arrived, it was obvious that these body parts were Karina's body parts. And the place where her body parts were found was not far from Maxim's and Yuri's apartments. But when the police came to this apartment, guys, they were not home because they had moved out. And their landlady, Ekaterina, who lived with them and was friend of them, she said that they had vanished the night before. And she said that she thought they had gone back home. And she was absolutely right on this, because Yuri went to his hometown Kronstadt and Maxim, he went to Sosnovy Bor. It's also the small town not far from Saint Petersburg. They were arrested immediately because while they were away, the police started to search their apartment and they found evidence fully proving their guilt. You heard me right, their guilt, because Maxim did it with his neighbor, not alone. He was with Yuri that night. And during the the search, blood stains were found in the bathroom, and missing parts of Karina's body were found in the freezer. That's what's known about the night according to police and official investigation and court sessions, because no one was interviewed after. Okay, after Karina came to this party, Maxim and Yuri, they decided and planned to kill the girl. And they decided to kill that very night. Right after everyone left and Yekaterina went to her room to sleep, Maxim, he started to fill the bath and called Karina to come to have a bath with him together. And a bit earlier, he and Yuri, they agreed that Yuri should come to the bathroom when Maxim will sneeze for 3 times. And the plan worked as they expected, because after 3 sneezes of Maxim, Yuri came and started to drown poor Karina while Maxim was holding her hands and her legs. It's unknown if the girl was raped before or after the murder, because the pathologist couldn't examine the body well enough due to the natural circumstances. So right after her death, they dismembered her body carefully and took part for their cooking. They cleaned everything after and drained the water out of the bath, and that was the reason why they decided to choose the bath for, because they wanted Yekaterina to not know what happened in her flat. And they drained the water out of the bath. They started to cook the body part, and they took potatoes, some seasonings on it, and onions. They baked her body in an oven, and after eating, they put all other parts of the body into plastic bags and dragged them to different parts of the town, to trash cans, to bushes in the park, and other places. So they also took parts of her personal belongings, like her mobile phone, MP3 player, and her headphones. So they took everything from her things, like even clothes. They took her clothes. They wanted to dress, I don't know what they wanted to do. Maybe they wanted to sell it. They are freaks. Like, they are freaks, guys. And during the court hearing, they started to blame each other. But there was one thing they were aligned on. Their dislike to Karina and her annoying behavior toward Maxim. In May 2012, Maxim Glovatskych and Yuri Mazhnov were found guilty and were sentenced to 19 years in penal colony. During the court hearing, Maxim's groupies were acting disgusting. They were screaming awful things about Karina. At some point, they were walked out of the courtroom. Karina's parents and friends, they didn't agree with the court because they were thinking that the sentence didn't match the crime, and they were waiting for a stricter decision and for life imprisonment. So now, Yuri Mazhnov, he's trying to make some applications for transfer to another prison, more open prison. All his appeals, they are being rejected. And Maxim Glovatskych, he got married inside of the prison to one of his groupies, and he started to perform as a vocalist in prison in his own band again. But in March 2017, he was found hanging on the rope. But there's the other side of the story. There's a documentary called Case of Shitty, which is made by independent journalist who did her own digging into the story. It is based on the testimonies from people who were friends of Yuri and Max, and the interview from Maxim's brother, his lawyer, and psychiatrists, which I don't know where they got this psychiatrist from, but he had nothing to do with the case. If you want to dive deeper into all of the stuff they are arguing about, you can find the film on YouTube. It's publicly available and it has decent English subtitles, so you will understand everything. According to this documentary, Maxim and Yuri, they were just good guys who made a huge mistake. They call this case a mistake, and they say that they were very young and they were dumb. They just panicked at that night and they didn't want to go to the prison. And definitely they didn't eat any parts of Karina's body. And the psychiatrist from their film, He says that there's no way that people can have the random idea to eat human flesh. There's no way people could do such things randomly. But who said that they did it randomly? I don't know how the psychiatrist even can tell such things. He knows everything about human's brain, and he should understand how mad people are acting. They are acting randomly every time. For example, Chikatilo or Ted Bundy, they didn't planning it 2 minutes before they murdering someone. The film also calls into question all the charges, the witness statement, and the whole police investigation. They claim that authorities, they are just wanted to crush alternative subcultures because they didn't like them. I'm not gonna argue that the media might have been blown things or that cops mess up a lot, but you can't just ignore the main facts here that Karina, she's dead and her body was dismembered, and one part of her body is straight up missing and it was never found. There was evidence of murder, and both guys, they were there that night. They did this that night. Even if Karina really did drown in the bath during some extreme sex thing, there's no excuse to what they did to her body afterward, right? Maxim's groupies, they are still think that he is completely innocent. And actually, guys, I don't see any talent which they are telling about in this documentary. Watching all the videos I found on YouTube with his singing on the stage, and I don't see any talent. He can't sing. He's not talented, and all this documentary, they say that Shari, it had so much potential. They performed on the stage singing Offspring songs or someone else's songs, and we cannot see any product which Maxim or his group mates made. I don't see any talent in them. Okay, guys, I hope you like this story, and stay safe. Be careful. Don't believe anyone. Please tell me what are your thoughts about this case, and let's discuss it together in a comment section. Ask me some questions if you're interested in more details. I'll try to find it for you and tell you in the comment section. And that's all for today and all for this case. See you next time. Bye.